I'm talking to a girl, but we're not committed to one another. I'm no longer interested and she's heartbroken, but I don't understand why she's so emotionally involved if we were never an official item. Am I missing something? Where did I go wrong?
Yeah, I think as a single person, I think everyone else here is married, so I think I can kind of give my 2 cents here. Um, but I feel like, especially in this generation that we're living in today, this is one of like the most difficult yet prominent and like just like a really ambiguous and kind of just like floating in the air sense of uh I guess quote unquote labeling things is what people like to call it. But I guess to answer the question, one of the first things to really acknowledge is that it's hard to spend time talking to someone and really getting to know someone without catching feelings. Um, there's a book called The Like Switch that talks about this, and it talks about 4 different principles. And the first one is proximity. If you share physical space with somebody often, um, it's gonna add to the feelings. The second one is frequency, right? The number of times you interact with that person, the more comfortable you become. Number 3, the duration. The more time you spend with somebody, the more influence they have on you. Um, and number 4 is intensity, which is like, how much you disclose of yourself. And I think this was discussed last night as well, that we shouldn't be disclosing our deepest, darkest secrets to somebody we just met. So just with that as the foundation, it's really important to acknowledge that, these feelings, psychologically speaking, are like the most natural thing possible. So with that in mind, right, as a Christian man to this person asking this question, it's really important to be conscious that this is a daughter of God, that this is a sister in Christ, not somebody that you can kind of just play with their feelings without thinking that there's any sort of consequence to them as an individual. And I think from early on, it's really important to really just be real and just let your intentions be known. We kind of hide in the dark with like kind of what we feel and kind of just our true intentions. I think it's Proverbs 31 verse 30, it says charm is deceitful, right? So this concept of leading someone on without really having intentions for anything real is selfish. You could really say that. But I think just not even having intentions be explicitly stated kind of leaves this void in the relationship, where it kind of just gets filled with imagination and assumptions of what the other person is thinking, right? We're not mind readers. Like, even if you study psychology, it doesn't matter how much you understand like body language and stuff. You will never know what that person is really thinking. So I think verbally addressing these things and keeping it real throughout is very important. And I guess just without this real intention being stated, it's also important to not treat somebody like your boyfriend or your girlfriend when they're not. I think that's something that we kind of do because we avoid labels. We try to begin treating people like they're already in a committed relationship with you without really claiming it. So that's really important as well. And I think on the girl side here, in the context of this question, it's important to have the self-control, as a human being, to not let the feelings take its natural course, especially when you're just getting to know somebody. And this is kind of for ourselves, to have the self-control to not overly invest emotionally when, of course, there's no verbally, like openly, verbally stated intention. Guard your heart. Guard your heart is what Proverbs says. And the last thing just to mention is that we really need to be considerate of other people's feelings. Amen. Because we already live in a society that, we live off of approval and opinions and likes and from other people, so for us to, like, in this context, for this guy to really go through with this and then kind of just drop off, like, you know, like whatever, it kind of leaves the girl or the other person in the state that, wow, I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. And we already deal with that enough. You know what I mean? Like, just the society we live in, we already struggle with that. So just that on top of it, it hurts that much more.
Right.
So I think our intention always has to be 1 Corinthians 13. Love does not seek its own. Love seeks the other. So always keep in mind the other person's perspective, their feelings, their emotions as you talk to them.
Wow. Thank you, Chris. Man, I feel so wrong to move on to another question after that, because I know these topics can go so deep.